everyone. So Pat Utomi is asking Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, why is it that during the whole saga that happened in Lagos State, there was no talk of state of emergency? He didn't put state of emergency. Why is it that it's when it came to River State that he found it so convenient for him to declare a state of emergency and to unconstitutionally remove an elected governor, his deputy, and also the House of Assembly? Professor Pat Utomi is being reported by Vanguard to have questioned Bola Tinubu's motive for declaring a state of emergency in Rivers State, arguing there was no ground for such move. There was absolutely no ground for such move. You can't say that because some pipelines had been vandalized and then you put a state of emergency. And to even say that the governor did nothing. What was the governor supposed to do? The investment of protecting lives and property is squarely in the hands of the federal government. And Bola Ahmed Tinubu is one that is illegitimately occupying the office of the president and also the commander-in-chief. So if there's anyone that needed to be blamed because there was breach of security and vandalization had taken place and nothing was done about it, it was actually Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But in a way, he had gone on to not blame another person, but to take a draconian action and an overreach out of the constitution, something that he does not have the power to do. In a nationwide broadcast on Tuesday, March 18, 2024, Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu cited militant vandalization of pipelines and the political situation in Rivers as reasons for consigning the state to emergency rule. He also nominated Vice Admiral Ibokete Ibas, retired as administrator, to take charge of the state's affairs after suspending Governor Semi Nalayi Fubara, his deputy, Professor Ngozi Odu, and all elected members of the House of Assembly of Rivers State. However, Professor Pat Utomi faulted Tinubu's decision in an interview on Channel Television, saying that the political crisis in Rivers did not warrant a state of emergency. The professor of political economy asserted that even when militants in Rivers were blowing up pipelines during the previous administration, the state was not subjected to emergency rule. Professor Utomi further questioned the Tinubu, which he wrote here, the president, definitely not my president, for not declaring a state of emergency in Lagos State during the crisis involving the Lagos State House of Assembly, Speaker Mudashiru Obasa and his colleagues. What is the problem in Rivers State that warranted a state of emergency? Tell me what it is. When pipelines were blowing up like popcorn in Rivers State, was there a state of emergency? Why did he not declare a state of emergency in Lagos State when the assembly was running back and forth? Why Rivers? There's something about fairness, equity, and pure decency, and I don't see it here. And I think it's a shame that they want to rubbish the democracy that we all fought hard for. Professor Utomi also blasted the National Assembly for endorsing Tinubu's declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers State. First of all, I think it's fair to say that we really don't have a National Assembly. What we have is Tinubu's Assembly, and he's able to do whatever he wants to do with them, and they do whatever it is that he wants. On the issue of this whole state of emergency declaration and also removing an elected governor plus House of Assembly, the Tinubu did not even wait for the National Assembly to give him a go-ahead for him to do that, to get it to them. He went in, removed the governor, swore someone in, and that was that. That was a literal middle finger being given to them. In every country that you see, around the world, literally where they have real democracy, the legislative is always taking on the executive. They are not some kind of slavish puppets who just sit down that when the executive say jump, they ask how high, I try to even jump higher than what they're told to do. But it's in Nigeria that we have slaves in the legislative arm, and we need to change this. This is something that absolutely needs to be changed. Otherwise, we are going to keep having real issue, real major issue is what we're going to have in all of this. We're already having the issues anyway, but let me tell every one of us, I think this is none of our business. Things are going to get bad, worse if we do nothing. If we do nothing by 2035, we are going to be looking back and say, 2025 was so good. Oh, we could buy rice for 100,000 naira. We could buy dollar. We say dollar, at least dollar was less than 2,000, because by then, who knows, we probably will be buying dollar for 5,000 or even 10,000 naira. Yes, that's how bad it is. In 2015, none of us ever thought that things can be as bad as they were in 2015, only for us to get to 2020 and people were saying, oh, you people that were demonstrating 2015, yeah, because of things were good then. Guess what now? 2025, people are saying things were very good in 2020, and there are pictures to show too for it. One of the most, profound things that I saw last week was just seeing someone who shared a tweet he did in 2020 where he bought some things for 30,000 naira. His trolley was literally filled, and he was there saying, oh, can you imagine? And in 2020, he was complaining, which we had every right to complain, because things were very expensive in 2020. That was the most expensive that we had seen. And so people were ranting. And even though some people kept saying, oh, 2014 was better, 2015 was better, and all of that, 2020. But at that 2014, 2015, that was also our worst there, because 2007 was better, 2008 was better. And so people were angry in 2015, in 2014, because 2011 was even better. And so when we came to 2020, people were ranting, 2015 was better. But guess what now? That thing that particular person bought for 30,000 in 2020, if he wants to buy them now, he probably will be needing 100 to 150,000 in 2025. So things got worse. The fact that things are way, way worse than they are now, does that mean that 2020 people shouldn't have protested? Does that mean that the person who was president in 2020 was a good one? No. And so if we do nothing, we're going to get back there. And for me, one of the things that it's so heartbreaking is that probably maybe by that 2035, some Nigerians will be abusing the Nigerians that took part in NSAS and said that, oh, they wanted to remove the president, because that's the narrative that is being put forward. Just the same way people today are blaming those ones that did occupy Nigeria. They say they wanted to remove president. Imagine things were cheap then. See how things are expensive now. Where are they? Come and protest. You think it won't happen? Those who protested in 2012, 2013, 2014, they are being blamed today because things worsen. And so if we do nothing, it will worsen again.